resolutions, or honestly, any time in the year you can use these tips. I'm just going to run down a list, and these are actually proven tips to help you when you have a goal to stick to it, and not just stick to it, but actually enjoy the process so that it is easy and it's fun to follow through on these. Because honestly, how many of us have made New Year's resolutions and had the best intentions to follow through on goals, and maybe we do it for a few days or weeks, and then we kind of forget about them, and then we feel bad about ourselves. Hi, I'm Jennifer Roig-Francolí. I am the creator of the Art of Freedom method for conscious living and masterful artistry, and a professional violinist and coach for musicians of all kinds. So welcome, and also make sure you stay to the end of this video, because I'm going to give you the 6 categories that I use when I coach my private clients in their life categories that are going to help you categorize the goals that you want to make for the new year. And again, you can start this at any time, but I'm talking to you today on January 2nd, 2021. And so it's really about New Year's resolutions, but any goals. So let's dive in. And before I dive in, actually, I would love to know who's here. Can you just say hello? I'm on Facebook and YouTube right now, so it would be really fun if you could tell me which platform you're on. And if you're a musician, I'd love to know that. And by the way, I'm extremely responsive to any comments in either platform. If you want any additional help or tips, I would love to have a chat with you. So feel free to comment as much as you want. I answer the comments, and I'm a real person over here, and I know you are too. So it's nice to have real connection. Thanks for being here. So let's dive in. I'm going to give you my big list of tips to help you make easy New Year's resolutions and to stick to them while having fun. And hello, Shukri. Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. Thank you for saying hello. It's great to have you here. Okay, so first of all, when you make a goal, when you make a New Year's resolution or any kind of goal, you need to really be connected with why you want to do it. And truly, the deeper you are connected to your purpose, the more heartfelt it is, the more you want it, the more passionately you feel about why you want to achieve this goal, the better. I mean, you can have a goal of, say, practicing more often, but why? And you might want to lose weight or exercise, but why? Ultimately, it does come down to wanting to enjoy your life more, right? You want to be happy. Everybody out there, just tell me, yes, I want to be happy, right? Yeah? Okay, who doesn't? Come on. And you want to feel better. And the musicians I work with, they all want to feel better mentally, physically, spiritually, and they want to play better. I mean, what musician doesn't want to learn how to play better? Okay, so you need to be connected to your purpose in a fundamental, deep way from your heart, and that's going to make it so much easier to stick with your resolutions. Okay, then you want to choose consciously to make your process more important than your goal. Now, this is not usually talked about. Usually we're all about, I'm going to make it to the end of this. I'm going to fulfill my goal. I'm going to get that thing that I want, and I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to change. And we get all excited about our goal, which is good. You kind of have to do that too. But we forget that ultimately it's the day-to-day, moment-to-moment process and enjoying the process that is going to allow us to continue to work on these things over time so that we can actually get to the end goal. If you're not enjoying the process, let's say if you have a New Year's resolution, like you want to exercise more, but you hate exercising, have you ever had that goal before and not succeeded, or you did for a while? I mean, anybody out there can relate to me with that, or with food. I mean, those are two really common goals that we have, to either lose weight or eat healthier, cut out sugar, exercise more. But if you're not really enjoying the process, if you haven't figured out a way to enjoy the process, you're much less likely to stick to it. And even if you achieve your goal, once you achieve it, are you going to be able to maintain it? Are you going to be able to sustain it? If you have a goal of going to bed earlier and you achieve that, but I mean, are you going to be able to sustain that and continue doing that over time? Because it's not really about achieving the goal. It's about achieving a change, a fundamental change in our lives to help us be happier and healthier, right? You with me? Yes? Give me an emoji or a thumbs up or type a yes if you're on YouTube. I would love to know that you're with me and this is making sense and we want the same things, right? Okay, moving down on my list. Dream big. This is actually something I read recently in something that Harvard put out, that it works much better if you allow yourself to dream big from the outset. You've got to have a dream that excites you. So an example from my life is that I think it was about a year and a half ago when I decided it was time to create my professional solo violin recording. A huge project, but kind of a lifelong dream that I've always had to do a professional recording someday. Well, it seemed incredibly daunting, but boy, it really excited me to give myself that goal and to actually commit to making it happen. Which brings me to the next step, which is if you have a huge goal that excites you, don't let it overwhelm you. Break it down into smaller pieces. If I had kept focusing on the end goal of getting my recording out there, which I'm close to doing, I'm really excited about it. If I had just thought about how big the project was, I would have been overwhelmed. But I just decided to see, okay, I have no idea how to make this happen. What's my first step? This is another tip. Very, very important, powerful tip. All you have to know is what the next step is. So figure out your first step. That's all you have to know right now. You have to dream big, have a big goal, then maybe chunk it up into some smaller goals that seem doable, they seem possible, and then figure out what your first step is. Okay? Then a couple other things, and by the way, these tips are not really in order, okay? They're all really important. So here are some questions to ask yourself. What do I need to believe in order for me to succeed? Well, in my example, I needed to believe that it was possible for me to create a high quality solo violin recording at, a very professional level. I had to believe that I could do that. And I did believe it, and I still believe it, and it's happening. But if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't have had the courage to go for it, and I would not have had the stamina to continue when things got tough. And they did get tough. There were times of tears, let me tell you, because I had to learn all these new things to make this happen, like what technology to buy to make my recording, how to create this studio that I'm in right now and turn it into a recording studio and put up acoustic paneling to help with the sound. I didn't know any of that, but I just focused on, okay, what's my next step? I had to believe that I could do it. Then another question, what do you need to stop doing in order to succeed? Very important, because there are often so many obstacles, things that we do that self-sabotage us, that maybe we don't see how they're connected, but if we pause and really ask ourselves, what am I doing that I need to stop doing to help myself succeed in this goal? When we do that, then the way becomes cleared for us to go forward and be successful. Then some people, I think most people actually, benefit from having a deadline. Now, you kind of know yourself. I know that I work really well with deadlines, having a date, and that sometimes I'll wait until a few days before for whatever it is, not for the recording. That's like years long project. But very often I need to have a date, a deadline to aim for, And maybe a few days before is when I really gear up to do whatever it is. I know I work well under pressure, and you just have to know that about yourself. Some goals and projects are more open-ended, but I recommend that you schedule in an end date. It's like, I want to have this project, this thing done by this date. I want to lose this weight by August 15th or whatever, right? I want to learn this piece of music by May 1st. Like, give yourself a goal in the sense of the timing, and that's going to help you. It's going to help you actually make it happen. But it's also really important, if it's a big project that has multiple steps, to schedule in the steps. So brainstorm all the steps that you can think of. You don't have to think of them in order. Just think of tons of steps that are required to reach your goal. Then once you have that brainstormed list, put them in order, if this makes sense for your goal, and then schedule them in your calendar. It's going to help you so much to keep focused and moving forward on your goal if you have dates attached. Then, this is another tip that is incredibly important and that we often forget. And I think there is actually research on this, and I'm not good at remembering the detailed facts, but trust me, and you can Google it. I think there's research that proves that if you spend time actually visualizing yourself having completed the goal, or being in the process, depending on what your goal is, if you can visualize yourself enjoying the process and being really excited about having completed it, and if you do this on a daily basis, you are much more likely to, first of all, enjoy the process, and then, second of all, actually achieve your goal. And if you enjoyed the process and you were excited about achieving the goal, you're much more likely to actually be able to sustain that goal. Keep eating healthy. Keep the extra weight off. Continue learning new techniques with your instrument joyfully and with ease. So visualization is a huge, powerful tip that I'm giving you today that I strongly recommend that you make part of your daily routine. Again, there's a ton of research on the power of visualization and mental practice. You can actually get so much more done with your musical practice if you do it away from your instrument and you know how to do it. This is one of the things that I teach in depth to my coaching clients and also the musicians in my Alexander Musicians group classes. So if you're a musician and you want to know more about this, please contact me, put a comment out there and ask me for more information about how you can learn how to optimize your powers of visualization to get your goals done. So moving on, and make sure if you're here, actually, first of all, before I go on, I really would love to know who else is here. Tell me hello. I'm on YouTube right now. I didn't schedule this, so if you're watching it later, sorry you missed it. I just am doing this spontaneously. So if you're watching the replay also, I would love to hear from you and get your comments and your feedback. Tell me if this is helpful, and let me know if you want to know more. I'd love to get your reactions and feedback in the comments, either now or later if you're watching the replay. Does this make sense? Are you with me so far? Give me a thumbs up or a yes. Should I go on? You want to know more tips? Yes? Okay, great. All right, I just have a few more here, and then make sure you stay because I have these life categories that I want to give you. This is how, life categories, it's a great way for organizing your New Year's resolutions. So to finish up this list of tips for making the easy resolutions and goals that you can achieve and actually stick to, here's another really powerful tip. And stay with me here because it takes a little bit of imagination power. Actually, it takes a lot. This is all about using the power of your imagination. Very powerful technique. Right now, if there's a goal that you have, let's do this right now. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you've already done it, that you already have achieved what you wanted to achieve. You already have succeeded. You have whatever it is that you wanted. Imagine that the time right now is past your deadline and you've done it. You've been successful. Take a moment to take that in and feel the best you can what it would be like to have achieved it already. And I want you to start thinking things like, wow, I did it. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. I was able to do this. Oh, it feels so great. Oh, my body is just, I feel so good. Okay, I can't give you the specifics about like, I earned the money to buy that car or that violin or whatever. I stuck with it and I did it and I worked it and wow, it's amazing. Or I decided to take a risk and I got help for what I wanted to achieve and it paid off and I'm so happy, right? So the point is to imagine that it's already happened. And then this is where it gets really interesting. If you have like a voice recorder on your phone or a friend who you can do this with, make it a game and talk into the phone or tell your friend. That's the best way. Tell your friend about what you accomplished and how great you feel that you have done whatever it is. So you're talking as if you're in the future. This is actually a lot easier for me to do personally than imagining the future. So even though it sounds really weird, it's like a mind-bending game. I dare you to try it and let me know how it went later. Okay, so after this video, do it later and then message me, comment here on the video and tell me, Jennifer, I did it. It was a flop. It didn't work at all. Or much more likely, that was actually really fun and it was a lot easier than I thought. I want to know. Give me your feedback, okay? And this could be anytime. If you watch this video a year from now, I will still get alerted about your comment and I will respond, assuming that I see it, but I should see it. And I love to respond to comments. So the more you put down there, the more we can interact and I can help you with this. I would love that. I'd love to chat with you. Okay, so that is maybe one of the biggest tips I'm giving you here today. 2 more tips. Write down your goal. It's also proven that if you write it down, you are way more likely to actually achieve it. Write it down and put it somewhere that you're going to see it often. I love little Post-it notes or note cards. Put them around the house, put them on the bathroom mirror, put them on the refrigerator door, put them in your violin case, put them on the piano, whatever instrument you play. Write it down, okay? And then you can also make a visual image. The part of our brains that's visual is much older than the verbal part, so it's even more powerful. That's why vision boards are really, a very good way to work on your goals. They're very powerful and they work. So if you have a goal, make a visual image of it. You can cut a picture out of a magazine, go online, print out a picture. You can make a whole vision board. That's another process that I can help you with later on another video if you want. But make a visual image. You can even just make a little cartoon drawing, right? But put it somewhere that you're going to see it often every day, okay? Then actually I do have one more tip here before I get to the life categories. This is also proven to be very, very helpful. Get help. So not even just help, get support, right? You may or may not know that I have a free Facebook group. It's called The Musician's Advantage. I would love it if you would join us there and post your goal in there. Tell us what your goals are. If you write it down and you put it out there into the world, tell your friends, tell your family, tell a group, and we will help you stay accountable. You can even send me an email. Put it in the comments. Jennifer, this is my goal. Help me stay accountable. Okay? I'd love to help you. So tell somebody, put it out there, and you're much more likely to follow through on it because there's a little, you're upping the ante there a little bit. People are watching. That's a good thing. It's going to make you do it because of that. a little bit of social peer pressure. Okay. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any. I think those are the main things I wanted to share of the tips. But now let me just tell you how you can, if you want to do this, and this is something that I do for myself, and I do this for my private coaching clients. If you would like to kind of look at your whole life and set, it doesn't have to be a lot of goals. You can just set maybe one for each category for the year. That's a great way to do New Year's resolutions. I did a really fun class with my musicians. I have a group class that meets a couple times a week, musicians of all skills, all instruments. We have professionals and amateurs and beginners and yeah, all kinds of musicians in my group class. If you want to know about that, just message me. But we had a great New Year's resolutions class, and we're all like, we don't want to do New Year's resolutions. We don't want to set goals, but everybody really does actually want to improve. It's just you have to find a way to do it that's fun and easy. So I do have other very, very powerful tips that I can share with you. Fun things like the 30-second goal creation game that we played in my group. That is really powerful. But you can do this in a way that kind of covers your whole life and make it fun if you look at these 6 categories that I'm going to give you now. And with my private coaching clients, this is the first thing we do in our first initial session. It's a VIP session because everybody's very important, of course, especially my coaching clients, very, very important. We kind of look at these categories and talk about what we want to achieve together and what the long range goals are for your life. And then we look at, 3 to 5 year goals. It doesn't have to be, you can be flexible on this. For some people that's easy, for some people that's like ridiculously hard. So then we don't do it. And then the 6-month goals for us working together. And then, of course, daily routines. We kind of go from the big picture down to the small picture, and ultimately using the Alexander technique, the way I teach it with Primal Alexander, hands-free. We look at our intentions moment by moment, by moment, by moment, to be really, really present to what we're doing right now. But I put everything into this context of 6 life categories. Do you want to know what they are? Yes. Okay. So the life categories that I use, and of course, these are kind of arbitrary and they all overlap. This is just the way I like to do it. First category is health and wellness, otherwise known as self-care. And within that, I have the subcategories of mind, like your mental goals, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. And then I also throw in the unusual category of time, like time organization, time management. How do you organize your day, your week, your work, life, work balance? We talk a lot about that. So that's category 1. And category 2 is relationships. And everything in life is about relationships, starting with your relationship with yourself, first and foremost. And so you see how category 1 and 2, they really overlap there. And then friends, family, community, the world, relationships. Relationship with your musical instrument is a big one too, that people tend to forget. So those are the first 2 categories, health and wellness and relationships. The third category is living environment. And this is a huge category. It's like where you're living, where you're working, your connection with nature, travel, things in your life, the aesthetics that surround you, the tools that you use, that type of thing is living environment. Fourth category is your professional work, your career, your creative endeavors where you're actually earning money, finances, those types of things I put into the professional work category. Then 5th category is your artistic and creative practice. Now, for artists, musicians, creatives, categories 4 and 5 very much overlap because your music is your profession and it's your creative outlet. We're very lucky in that sense. But the artistic practice category also includes how do you practice. It looks at your performance, poise, your stage presence, the techniques that you're learning, the repertoire that you're working on, your skills improvement, really connecting to your heart and your purpose through art, inspiration. How do you get inspired? How do you stay motivated? Those types of things go into that category. And they do overlap also with the first category of self-care very much. Last but not least, we have the sixth category, which is recreation. You've got to have fun. And of course, that can overlap with all of the above categories. So just wanted to tell you a little bit about how I categorize area, like it can cover your whole life basically. So if you would like to start a practice with New Year's resolutions or any time during the year of looking at those categories and then coming up with some goals to achieve within those categories, then this might be a good springboard for you to get started with that. Then, of course, there are a gazillion other things that I could tell you about how to follow through. And first and foremost, how to follow through in a way that is easy and healthy and enjoyable. Because you really just want to enjoy your life, right? That's the reason we have goals and resolutions to begin with. We do them because we would like to improve something. We want to enjoy something a little more. We want to feel better, healthier in our bodies. We want to feel more connected to ourselves, other people, the world around us. You don't have to have goals or make any kind of resolutions, of course, but there's always a direction in our lives. And doing it in this kind of formalized way with this framework can help you maintain that direction, which is life enhancing. Okay? So, was this useful? I'd love to get your feedback down in the comments. Tell me what stood out for you in the comments right now. Is there one tip that you're like, oh, I'm going to do that? And hopefully more than one. And very important, tell me in the comments one goal that you have that you want to really put out there and make sure that you make happen. And come over to my Facebook group if you're not there. It is called The Musician's Advantage. It's a free Facebook group for musicians of all kinds. And put your goals over there too, and we'll help keep you accountable that way as well. Now, if you're interested and curious about how I work personally with musicians to help them with these goals and, play better and feel better and have a much, more enjoyable life and success as a musician, then please contact me and ask me about my private coaching programs for professionals and ask me about my group program, especially if you're an amateur, but really the group program is pretty much for anybody, but the coaching is what I would really recommend if you're a professional. So just reach out to me if you're curious and we can talk about options for your unique situation and how I might help you move forward in the new year or whenever that is right now. We'll see if I have any openings currently in my program for you, and I will help steer you in the direction that's going to be the most useful for you. So come on over and join my Facebook group. Tell us about your goals. Contact me if you're curious about learning more. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you can get the next videos, and we'll stay in touch that way. Thank you so much for watching, and Happy New Year. Enjoy this process and just play around with it. Make it fun. It's always a game and it's always an experiment. Lots of love.